are the Story Cell class, and we have been hashtagging wild all week. I'm going to invite one of the coaches who I absolutely love and adore to introduce you to the reveal of our quote, what our inspiration was for this week. So I'm going to turn it over to Noelle. It's all you.
Hey, thanks so much. Yeah, I'm Noelle, and I picked the quote for our hashtag this week. It's by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. And it's, I heard the bells on Christmas Day, their old familiar carols play, and wild and sweet the words repeat of peace on earth, goodwill to men. And our hashtag was wild, and I just love this for the fact that I got to choose the word wild, because then I get to feel a little bit rebellious. Nicole understands that, because we could have gone with so many other words here, but I wanted to go with the one that's a little out there. But I enjoyed seeing everybody's stories around wild, and also being part of the Christmas holiday, having this quote encompass. And so I love hearing from people what this quote meant to them. So some of the guests tonight will share that, and some of them will share their other experiences with this hashtag. So thanks for joining us. Back to you, Nicole.
Thank you, thank you. I'm going to bring on another coach. She's an abundance coach. She's amazing. Absolutely love this girl from the wow, gosh, way towards Canada. She's going to be joining us from Cape Cod. And Sally, welcome. Thanks so much for being on tonight. What was your thought and experience with this quote this week?
Well, thank you for having me on tonight. The first thing I thought about was actually the author, because Longfellow had a house about a mile from where I grew up. And then it this flood of memories, because I used to love when my dad would take us driving around at night to see the Christmas lights. And I always loved going by Longfellow's house because it was just beautifully and very elegantly like decorated. So it just brought back that memory. And then it kind of brought back the memories of like Boston and the hustle and bustle of the holidays, and kind of, it could be kind of wild at times. So that word could definitely kind of was woven in there. And then in terms of stories, I was able to take some Christmas gifts. I got these beautiful mugs from a friend with a lot of inspirational quotes. And I was trying to figure out, well, how do I make that wild? And I just turned them all into kind of fun boomerangs. And it was really exciting because I had about at least 150 people watch each of those boomerangs. So it was fun. It was a little bit of a challenge this week, but it just made it interesting and fun and celebratory. And that's my takeaway for this quote. So it was really nostalgic and inspiring and challenging all at the same time. So back to you.
I love it. If you haven't watched her stories and the pictures, the beautiful pictures she posts, follow her. If you're not following her anyway, just because she's an amazing coach, you need to be, checking in with what this lady has to say. So thank you so much, Sally. I appreciate you. Thanks for being on tonight. Next up, we have Keisha Sline, who I just absolutely adore. This woman has the best smile on the internet. She has so much love for all things wild, I can tell you that. And she's joining us from Texas tonight. So welcome, Kay. Thanks so much for being on.
So wild to me, for this Christmas, we had 5 adults, relatives from my son-in-law that came and stayed here and slept here for several days. And so it was wild to get ready for it. And we're in a new house, so we have a gigantuan tree that's next to the stairwell. So the wildness of grandkids that are much older to decorate, and then they get to stand on the stairwell and reach and go, oh no, let me put that up there instead. So to me, the wild of all the visiting, but to me, the peace on earth and a lot was very important. A lot of my stories had to do with how we can celebrate Christmas, but it's also the time when people celebrate Hanukkah, when they celebrate other things, how for us to celebrate to other people that may not think like we do, but can celebrate that together rather than it being a divisive. So it's the peace on earth that's really important.
Absolutely. Love it. Thank you so much, Kay. A great perspective as well. So I'm excited to see even more of your stories as they come through this next 24 hours with Wild. So also joining us from Texas tonight, a fellow health coach. Thank you so much for being on, Naomi. She just launched her website, so y'all are going to have to check her out. So welcome, Naomi, and let us know how things been going for you this week.
Hey, thanks, Nicole. I'm really happy to be here. I really unplugged this last week and actually was like not really active on social media at all. So in some ways I kind of missed out on this hashtag, but if I reflect on my week, I love just the atmosphere leading up to this time of year, and I felt like this is a good way to kind of like name or summarize what that feeling is, of especially like the goodwill, just people being a little extra warm and friendly to each other. Really what Kay says really resonates with me as well. So yeah, it's nice to be reminded of what that feeling is, and that makes this time of year so great. Thank you guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Naomi. I'm glad you made it on tonight and can't wait to see what happens this next coming week with you. All right, next up, my good friend who I've known for a number of years, Lori Kozilski, who's just developing her coaching program. She's an amazing business-minded person. Just love to have you on here tonight, Lori. Thanks so much for being on. Tell us what your thoughts were, because I loved your stories this week.
Oh, great. Thank you for having me. Gosh, all the stories. I love the stories class because we get to go back in our little stream and look at all the fun things that people are sharing. Wild meant to me, somewhat Kay was saying, just the peace and more of a spiritual sense for the radicalness of the wildness of how God loves me but loves others. And so it just pouring out on others in this time, this season of love. And one of my posts was on Crazy Cat's dog, Logan. I have dreamed of having a dog, and that got a lot of attention. It was really cute, but just, people thought I got a new dog, right? And it was so cute, the different responses that I had on it. But more it meant to me just the wild craziness, how God loves me, but God loves us in his radical way, no matter what. So back to you, Coach.
Amen. Wow. Powerful message always from Lori. Thank you so much, and I appreciate you. All right, next up, we also have from California, Northern California, hanging out at work. You got to fit in business whenever you can and fit in all this cool stuff. So thanks so much, Lay, for being on right now. Go ahead and unmute yourself and share with us your experience.
Thank you, Nicole. Wow, wonderful stories tonight. It's a wonderful class. I love story cell, and I'm actually going to start in maintenance, but I definitely will be continuing for the rest of the year. Minimal. It was really a time for me to reflect on my past and my childhood and how crazy and wild it was, because we had a very large household of people. Till today, I don't know how we were able to get everything organized for the holidays. But it also afforded me to kind of pull a couple of pictures, one with my sisters. We were actually at a baby shower for my nephew and his wife, their first child. And unfortunately, my mother wasn't in that picture, but we had, pineapples on our head. So I thought that was pretty wild to put that out there. So that was fun. And also, it just, like I said, it just afforded me to pull pictures out that was funny and to post. And also in a seriousness too, really on the wild side of me, I'm looking forward to 2020 and what I'm going to do next year, well, in a few days. So, back to you, Nicole, but I just wanted to say that it's going to be a wild year. I think it's going to be an awesome year for all of us. And I think we just have to, like Roby, just hang on to it and we go together. So back to you, Coach. It's just a wonderful, wonderful quote.
Thank you so much, Lay. And if you're not following Lay, this woman has the most valuable posts with respect to her family, how much she appreciates them. And she's an amazing business-minded person and is going to be developing a coaching program this year. We're really excited to see what she does next. So thanks so much, Lay, for being on and taking the time out of work. Next up, we have Lisa, who is all over the internet. She is an amazing person, has traveled, she's all over, she's promoting business, and I mean, she's incredible. So if you're not following her and you want to know more about what she's doing, like her tonight, because I'm telling you what, you won't be missing out. So thanks so much, Lisa, for being on tonight and taking the time out all the way from Georgia. So thanks for being on. Please share with us what your experience has been this last Christmas week.
Sure, thank you. So for me, the wild hashtag I had a lot of fun with. Being that I work online on the internet world, I really have come to start to appreciate even more so. Being that my internet businesses they work fully operable around the world. It's just wild how I have a business partner in the UK and I have another business partner in Thailand. And then I'll be talking to someone, my friends in New Zealand. And so this internet world is just wild because it really does, really connect us all together, even though we're so far apart. I'll go to sleep at night and I'll message my business partner in the UK. And by the morning, I know she's sleeping, but by the morning when I'm sleeping, she's already messaging me. So it's really just like, it's always working. And it's just, to me, that's wild because, if it was like the 1700s, this wouldn't even be happening. But, and it just makes us really get more connected even quicker around the world. So I think that's just crazy wild.
Yes, it is. Thank you so much for being on tonight. And she had some major golden nuggets for those of you who are watching tonight. The value of the internet and being present online is huge because you can do it 24/7 and you can be available with stories. If you want to learn how to do that, you got to get in this class with us. It's so much fun. So that said, just for me this week, hashtagging wild and being a part of this organization of people and the students and these fellow coaches to just bring light and joy to all the things that you are all doing to celebrate and being online and really being out there and jumping on board with the things that you love fearfully without any reservation. I'm just so excited to work with all of you. So I'm going to turn it over to Coach Kebie to close us out tonight. Thank you so much, our fearless leader, the creator of Stories Sell. Thank you so much for being on tonight. From North Carolina, it's all yours, Kebie.
Thank you so much. And if you're watching, make sure you drop a comment. Let us know where you're watching from to go along with what Lisa's saying, because it really, truly is wild to see how people are tuned in from all over the world. And Lisa, our brains think just alike. I lose sleep over that. We do not know the power of the internet. And I know I'm supposed to talk about hashtag wild, but we don't know. That is so wild to me, because we do not even know the power of the internet and where it can lead us and take us to build business. And everything you said, Lisa, I am so in agreement with you, and that we can do it with our kids. All of us, we're here, we're a mother to someone. If it's a sister, we're an aunt, we're a mother, we're a mentor. We have kids around us. We have people we take care of. We're women. We have people at all times we're taking care of, right? We can do that with our loved ones. So I love what you're saying, Lisa. It gets me excited. But hashtag wild to me is, it just meant that how wild my life is right now. I have a lot of businesses. I have a lot of abundance and harvest, and there's seasons for that. So we have seasons of harvest and seasons of planting. And I feel like I'm literally on a wild bucking horse. But all I can say is hold on and enjoy the ride. Go through the process. Get your feet get your feet under you. Stay grounded and go for the ride, because it comes and goes, right? So for me, hashtag wild meant truly that, and how I could still stay grounded with my family over Christmas, still build my businesses, still connect with people all over the world, and that is just absolutely wild.
We have been sharing stories in this last week on a hashtag, and the word is wild. And we got that word from a quote from Henry Wadsworth, Longfellow, of course. And it was centered around Christmas. So we passed by the holiday, but the quote is, "I heard the bells on Christmas Day, their old familiar carols play, and wild and sweet the words repeat of peace on earth, goodwill to men." So I'm going to go around and ask people what that quote and hashtag meant to them. And Denise Krebs, our DNA detective, you are up first.
Hey, Noelle, how are you? Thanks for having me on today. I will be honest, I did not even realize that the word wild was in this quote until we did it. I thought it said something else. So it was kind of fun to really go back to some really good literature and remember that. And of course, around Christmas, it gave me a lot of opportunity to incorporate that quote with things that we did with family, or doing Legos with Caleb, or of course the meaning of Christmas itself and how wild love that was that Jesus came down to earth for us. So great pick for the week. Thanks very much, Noelle.
Oh, thank you. Thanks so much for sharing. I loved your stories. Kathy Hagler, what did you think about #wild and this quote?
So I didn't know it was a poem until you brought that out. It's a song that I have sung for quite a while every year. And it starts out very dark. And as the song goes on, it comes out very strong in the end and a victory. And I love that part of it, because Christmas was always hard for me. I grew up a retail family. So I centered mine around family. We raised 3 boys and a tomboy, and they were all wild. And so are all of our grandchildren. So that's what we did. Back to you, Noelle.
Thank you. Well, that is so sweet. And I just love choosing wild. I felt a little like we could all be a little bit rebellious with it, but I have to tell you, once I started seeing people's stories, I was like, this is great. I loved it. I love all of them. But it was a lot of fun. And then of course we incorporated the Christmas holiday too. So now I'm going to go to Susie Guevara. And Susie, what can you tell us about your stories this week with this hashtag? Take your microphone and turn it on. There you go.
Well, for me, wild, this whole 3 weeks that I've been with this group has been wild for me, because I'm coming out of my comfort zone. So it's been really nice. All the things I'm learning, it's like a new beginning for me, the #wild. So that's what I've took from this.
Awesome. Well, you're coming out with a bang. So we will certainly enjoy seeing more of it. Thank you so much. Thanks for sharing. That was great. All right, Laura Brown. Saw some of Laura Brown's beautiful, colorful posts. Go ahead.
So I really just concentrated on the word wild. And it was nice having my family over yesterday, and it's always wild when they get together. So that was really a fun time. And I took a bunch of group photos, and they were wild. I had to tell them how to behave in the group photos. So I thought about that. And then I found a picture with 2 eyeballs, and I put, "I am watching you, wild." And I always think about what Kebie says, people are watching you on Facebook. So that was something that really hit home. I am watching you, and it's just wild to me. So back to you, Noelle.
Oh, thank you, Laura. Well, I love your wild family sharing about that. We always had wild family celebrations too. All right, Angie. Hi, Angie. You have a wild print on tonight. I love it.
I do. I love this. Thanks, Noelle. I like the whole quote. I love the quote, but I stuck with the #wild just because I was thinking just over the season, over this last decade for myself, we've kind of added to our family with grandkids. And so it really has been like a wild week, but just amazing that we get to worship, and we get the privilege of being able to be of what God and what Jesus has done for us in this holiday season. And so that's it's just a wild thought of what he had the thought for us, that he loves us so much, and how blessed we are, and how really just favored. So anyway, I love the hashtag. So thank you, Noelle.
Oh, thank you, Angie. I love your reflection of it all. That was really beautiful. Thanks so much. And Buddy.
Howdy, how you all doing?
Good.
The word wild. Well, growing up, the house was always wild. We had 10 kids growing up, and it was always crazy. But this week, we're now empty nesters, so it's been a quiet time for Christmas, and it was interesting trying to invert wild into it. So it allowed me to get a little more creative than as I was going through the process. And so it was interesting to just be able to use a little more creativity and just flow with it during the week. It was fun, really.
You sure did. Yeah, I saw that. I loved it. You had your dog in with you. You used some special features to jazz it up. I was like, oh, there goes Betty. He is breaking out. So I loved your stories. Thank you so much. Thanks for bringing that creativity in.
Thank you.
That's super special. Thanks. All right, Dawn McGee. How are you tonight?
I'm great. How are you? So, hashtag wild. I focused on that. And it was kind of, whenever we have family get-togethers, with it being Christmas, it's always wild. You never know what to expect. So, and of course, keeping Jesus in the picture with Jesus is the reason for the season. So I kind of centered mine around family, friends, focused on that. And then some of my posts I haven't done yet because I'm here at the ocean, and the sea was very, very wild yesterday and today. So I have a post coming on that. So I really kind of just focused on that, and just all the craziness and the excitement of the season and family and all the hoopla. So I loved it. It was a great quote. Thanks, Noelle.
Oh, thank you. And so it's interesting how our lives can really take shape around this as we're working on it through the week. It works into our lives, or our lives kind of take a part of it, because it is true, those Christmas gatherings with families, and you got kids running around and making forts out of who knows what. And, I think of Christmas Vacation, where the squirrel comes in with the tree and everybody's running around the house with the squirrel, because we had a bird come in. And it was a beautiful bird, but my husband and I couldn't get it out for the life of us. And it was like, of course, we're chasing this bird around. So thank you so much for sharing, Dawn. And I can't wait to see the ocean. All right, Anita, I saw your beautiful smile and your beautiful family. Tell us what this hashtag and quote meant for you.
Well, I guess at first it was wild. I didn't have any of my wild pictures when I was younger. So when I saw my niece on Christmas Eve, I thought her outfit was rather wild to me. So I said, let me go with that. And I had a picture of some wildflowers, and then wild love from my grandkids, and another picture of a dress that I really like with loud colors. So that was my wild for the week. Thank you, Noah.
Thanks, Anita. Thank you for sharing that. And, I saw one, you always have a great smile, but I saw one, you just had the most relaxed, true from the heart smile. I don't know if it was because you were with your family, but it was just so great to see. So I love it. Thank you so much. Thanks for letting us get to know you. All right. And now we have Jamie. Jamie,
hey everybody.
Tell us about how you did this week.
Well, I was a little bit like Buddy because I am also an empty nester. So I did get to see my grandson for a little while on Saturday, which I incorporated that, of course, because he is a redneck kid, so he is wild. And, so wild for me is not stepping out of my comfort zone. It's in my comfort zone, because that's basically the way my life has always been, being in the military and whatnot. But, what I like about the quote, the quote is in my mind, and what I like about that is, it just kind of says, yeah, we hear it. We hear the bells on Christmas Day, but it's wild and sweet because it repeats. It repeats that peace on earth, goodwill to men. And, if we think about that, that's kind of what we're doing here, is we're repeating, that goodwill, and we're trying to help people. So it kind of all ties in together. But yeah, I don't know if you guys saw my little jackass in the post, but yeah. And that jackass is really not wild at all, but we got to have fun, show a little humor.
Yeah, you have some wild characters to include there, but I really love your reflection the quote, and thank you for your service. I don't think I've mentioned that before, but thank you so much. We're just getting to know each other. But that was really cool. I'm going to go back and listen to what you said again, because that was a whole new take on it for me. But I do love the last line, because that symbolizes the feelings around the holiday to me. All right, Diane, do you want to share what it meant for you?
Sure. I started off the week with, it being like wild nature and that type of thing. But then I started thinking about when I was a little girl, and I was mom and dad's free spirit rebel child. And my sisters, they never, ever let me live this story down. But our neighbors were 3 boys, and there was 5 girls in our family. And like I said, I was the rebel child. And I would strip my clothes off and run across the neighbor boy's front porch. And I'm talking, I'm 3 years old when this is going on. And it just kept reminding me of, they always tell me I'm the free spirit, the wild child. So it brought back lots of memories of, I kind of remember those days. But I enjoyed this word.
Oh, good. That's funny. And I also learn about people in their stories through the music that they choose. So I heard some music on yours, and then I knew something a little bit more about you too. I was like, I didn't know that would be a song that she would choose. So I love to learn through music. So thank you so much. I loved your stories. And thanks for that little story. I don't think I'll forget that anytime soon. All right, heading over to Nicole. Yes, it stopped now. Otherwise, we'd all be hearing about it. Oh my goodness. Okay, so Nicole, tell us about your stories in this quote.
Well, I'm just laughing at everyone's stories here today, and just the joy that everyone seems to have been putting in their stories over this week, and just the season, and just appreciating their families and the things that they get to do. No matter what it is, no matter how wild it is, no matter how, whatever's come at us over the holidays, it just seems that everyone in this group of people seems to have a very positive mindset no matter what's going on. I absolutely love it. So for me this week, I absolutely love this quote. I kind of glommed onto the hashtag wild. I'm actually familiar with the song, but I've heard it over the years, but never understood, that it was a whole, literature kind of thing, which is very cool. I learned something new today or this week, so it was really fun. I did really enjoy doing the stories this week and celebrating the students in the class, and certainly honoring people that I know and care about, and incorporating that into my stories, which is what I think makes it that much more fun, is to really throw in all of you and the people that I love and care about into what it is that means the most to me, especially during this season. So I'm grateful for this quote this week and the hashtag to be able to incorporate it into everything from food to Christmas to celebrating business, you name it. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you, Noelle. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, your posts are always fun, and I love how you celebrate other people, and I think that's a great thing about this community, because so often we're looking for that outside, but the other thing too is when we think, well, what's coming to us? Well, maybe we can think about what are we putting out there, so that will come back to us. And Nicole's a great example of that. Awesome example of that. And I think it's funny that you and Denise, the DNA detective, both found out more about this stanza of this poem. That's so typical of both of you. All right, we're going to end with Kebie. She's got her wild print on, and she's a lover of animal prints, just like Angie here. So go ahead and take it away for us, Kebie.
Well, yeah, this year was definitely wild for me, because normally my holidays are slow. I'm in sales, so everywhere I turn, I can really take that time with family, and that's good. But this year was like a wild bucking horse. We didn't stop. I had just abundance and harvest pouring, and I am definitely thankful. But in all my businesses, just crazy wilds. I felt like I've been on a bucking horse. But through my stories, I've had a lot of fun. We had a lot of downtime for Christmas. I did take time off with family, and like every year, I always dress up in a wild outfit. It's like Halloween for me at Christmas because I wear the ugliest Christmas shirt. I love to participate that way, and I try to dress my daughter that way. She doesn't participate. But I'm the only one in a Christmas tree dress, and I think it's fun. I love to be wild and be with family and just really relax and have fun and turn off. At the same time, like I feel like Jamie, that my wild is being turned off. Because normally I'm just going, right, to turn off, but that's a little wild. But also just cherishing that time with family, but then to watch my dad and my husband give my son a very significant gift for him this year. To be able to do that through my stories, that was so awesome. And I had just so much feedback from the video footage that I did through my stories. That's why I love this class. I love stories, and I love being able to share our Christmas story, which was so powerful for him, with our family, with our friends on Facebook, with our friends on Instagram, because I was able to do those stories in the stories part, you know, the feature of the platform. So it just tied in, and it was wild, and I loved it. We had a great time, and glad to get back and in the saddle. So back to you, Noelle.
Oh, that's so funny you said some of that, because sometimes I feel like I'm riding a bucking bronco and trying to hold on. So it's all been wild for me too, but it's been great.
This is Nicole Connor here, and I'm really excited to host this Story Cell training reveal of an amazing quote that our good friend Noelle and fellow coach shared with us this week. We've been hashtagging wild for over a week. You've been watching our stories, and so we're going to reveal what our inspiration was. And the quote is by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, and it is part of a longer literature, but this is one stanza that says, "I heard the bells on Christmas Day their old familiar carols play, and wild and sweet the words repeat of peace on earth, goodwill to men." So we have lots of things to share with you tonight, and I'm going to bring on the creator of this course and our head coach here, Ms. Kebie Whitehead. What did you think about this quote, and what was it meaningful to you?
I love the quote because Christmas at my house is always wild. I have young kids who love, you know, opening Santa. We still have that spirit of Christmas here. We just actually shared with Maddox this year, you know, the Santa, but he took it very well. He had a great Christmas, and then it's just been bucking wild for me in a good way. 2019 has been so great and so good to me. Happy New Year's, everybody. 2020, I can't wait to see. I'm literally like on a bucking horse. That's what I've told everybody. Just holding on, you know, and riding the train, riding it wild. And I love the stories this week. I love how everybody hashtag wild and what Christmas meant to them and sharing their Christmas stories. And I love seeing it through stories. I love being able just to click through the stories and see everybody's memories in a glimpse really fast. So I love stories. I love this class, and I love the quote. So back to you, Nicole.
Thank you so much, Coach. If you're not following Coach Kebie Whitehead, well, of course, we're on her page, but for those of you who are following us and you've never met her, follow this woman. You're going to learn a lot. All right, next up we have Denise, and Denise is an awesome business owner. She has t-shirts and other fun trinkets. I was so excited to receive an ornament with my company name on it this week. It was so exciting. So thank you, Denise, for being on and for just being a special human. I can't wait to hear what you have to say about this because I absolutely love your stories and they always make me laugh.
Well, thank you, Nicole. Wow, it was wild. The Christmas was kind of tamed. It wasn't really wild. I think the wildest thing for me was Christmas dinner, and I hate cooking, so I was not in a cooking mood, but however, I pulled it off. So, and had my son and my grandkids over. So that was nice. And I still stayed committed to going to the gym. That was wild. As always, wild going to the gym, crazy, wild, untamed, you know, uncut. So whatever you see is what you get. So that's the gym
Right.
part is really wild. That's it. That's what it means to me. Thank you. And back to you, Nicole.
Thank you, Denise. And if you're not following her, she's always posting about Jim like he's a human in the third person. It's hilarious. And she's just hysterical when she posts these things. So thank you so much for bringing humor to the internet. We appreciate you, Denise. Okay, next up, we have the birthday girl. Trina, welcome. Thanks for being on tonight. Almost New Year's, and you have so many things you could be doing tonight. And I'm so grateful that you're on. She's a business owner. She's a go-getter. Boy, this woman, you could be following all of these ladies here and gents. So look out. I want to hear what you have to say. Happy birthday.
Well, thank you so much, Nicole. And well, you know, this week hasn't been as wild for me, but when I think of this quote, I think of the time growing up. When I was growing up, I grew up around all boys. And so every holiday was spent at my grandmother's, or even Sunday afternoons was always spent. And so the holidays was always a wild time for us because it was usually out in the yard having snowball fights with the boys, wrestling around, dragging each other around on sleds with the three-wheeler at the time, or the horses. And, you know, we were always having a wild time. And so it just really, when I read this quote, it just brought back a lot of memories from that. Right now I'm at the stage where I have two boys that are just in their early 20s, so no grandkids yet. So it's just been kind of quiet at our house over the holidays at this stage of our life. But I know at some point it'll probably get wild and crazy with little ones running around again and stuff like that. But definitely can, you know, remember all the memories of the wild times. And some of my cousins that I hang out with now are actually on a weekend getaway in Deadwood, and I kind of got a hard time for not being there with them because I'm sure they're going to be having a wild time tonight with it being New Year's Eve in Deadwood, gambling and all the fun stuff that goes on there if you've ever been there in South Dakota. But so yeah, I mean, that's just kind of what it meant to me and what I kind of got off of reading the quote and thinking about, you know, times of growing up with family and stuff.
Absolutely. I'm
I
so
will
glad.
turn it back over to you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad you shared that because it is wild how quickly this year has gone by, hasn't it?
Oh, crazy wild.
And to remember all those times when we were young and to fondly have them to share with everyone. Thank you so much, Trina, and happy birthday.
Thank you.
All right, next we have Todd. Welcome, Todd. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. His stories have been all about the kids and playing in the snow and having a lot of fun. So welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for being on tonight. Todd, tell us a little bit about how you've used #wild and how this quote has inspired you.
Wild's pretty much just life in general. Time goes, sorry, can you hear me all right?
A little bit better.
Okay, sorry. Wild's just life in general. It goes, time just flies by. And the boys, yeah, I got 10 and 6-year-old and everything's wild with them. Sun up, sundown, all wild. Thank you for having me.
For sure.
Back to you.
Thank you, Todd, for sharing. So you said you had twin boys?
No, 2 boys, 10 and 6.
Okay, 10 and 6. Woo! That's wild in general. I'm sure Trina will concur. Yeah. Thank you so much for being on. If you haven't followed Todd, his stories have just been really sweet. Just looking at his boys playing makes me wish my kids were little, only for about 5 minutes. Again. Todd. Next up, we have Wanda, who is just about to be an author. She's about to be a coach. She's a business owner. She's a caregiver. She's just got the sweetest heart in the whole world. So welcome, Wanda. Thanks so much for being on tonight. Happy almost New Year. How's this quote in # inspired you this week?
Well, first of all, Happy New Year's to everyone that's here. And I'm glad to finally be able to speak and see all of y'all. I've been incognito with the crud, but so wild was more about me finding the wild side of me because I was raised Mennonite. We didn't do Christmas. We didn't know what wild was. So it was kind of about finding the wild things around us and just getting out and enjoying the outdoors and different things like that. But I love Christmas. I love the spirit of being that free and carefree like a child. That's what I think of when I think of Christmas as being free and wild like children. So thank you for this quote, Noelle.
Thank you, Wanda. I'm so glad you're feeling better and enough to be on tonight. I just am so grateful for that. And I love all of your stories, and just your content has just been amazing. So thanks for being on. And next up, we have co-coach Noelle, who's a sister from another mother for sure. She's always inspiring people, from deep thought to funny things to old school, from 80s to tape decks, you name it. This girl's got it going on, even big hair, just saying. So welcome, Noelle. Thanks for being on. Thanks for sharing those crazy stories this week. I absolutely love them.
Well, I love the fact that I can make you laugh, Nicole, and leave a little like inspiration, because you get so jazzed about your high school memories. So when my husband or I post something from high school, you're just like, oh. And yeah, I found somebody else's post just made me laugh, with a woman with big hair, and it was, the higher the hair, the closer to God. And so then I wanted to find Dolly Parton and with some big hair. And when I saw her picture, I was like, wait, I have that hair too. And so this Christmas, my mom gave my husband a picture of me from high school with that. I graduated in 1990. That'll let y'all know my age range. And so we all had, the big, and I told Kebie the status symbol was if you had the gigantic bottle of Shaper hairspray sticking out of your guest's, shoulder bag. So anyways, that's memories from that. But I do love this quote. When I saw it, we started it before Christmas, so it encompasses Christmas and the feelings around that and the memories and things. And then when I saw the words wild and sweet, I was all over it, because I talked to you about it. I just wanted to use wild, and there's just still a little bit of rebellious left in me these days. I guess it'll always be there. So, but then when I started seeing people's stories, I was so excited about it, because everybody just took it from so many great perspectives. And then on our reveals, we've been hearing what it meant to people. And the last line that stands out to me is, peace on earth, goodwill to men. So we're here at New Year's Eve, and I just, invite everyone to carry that throughout their entire year, carry that spirit, that wild and sweet spirit throughout their year 2020, because I see big, exciting things for everybody on the screen here, and I wish it for the world. So thanks so much. Thanks, Nicole.
Thanks, Noelle. Thanks so much for this quote. It's been a lot of fun, and I so appreciate you. Next up, we have brand new author, Crazy Cat Mac. She's co-coach of this program. She's got her own coaching program just launched. It'll be in full force in January. So if you want to know more about Crazy Cat, you have to get in touch with this girl. So thanks so much, Cat, who's on a skydiving expedition at the moment. So welcome to the call tonight, and thanks for taking the time out. Welcome, Kat. What were your thoughts for this week?
Well, it's been a bit of a wild week. There's been, a bunch of family things going on, a lot of which were outside of my control. And I'm just super grateful for this group, because it kept me engaged and kept me focused and kept me posting, even though life gets wild. And that's the whole purpose of it. So it kind of manifested and came true as I was going through some crazy stuff, including that I'm on a skydiving trip. I'm on a skydiving team, and I have 2,500 jumps, which is a little bit wild for a lot of people. But I did building for 22 years, so what else did I have to lose, right? But the biggest thing was that I just really appreciated this group, and I appreciated Noelle was meeting with me on the Characters of Christmas, which is an absolutely fantastic book, and this quote goes along with that. If anybody's not in Success Through Scripture, which is an online Bible study, I just really encourage you guys to participate. You can listen as you can. We're going to be going through Spirit-Driven Success starting this Sunday, and it's really going to touch you. I've been listening to The Dream Giver, which is by Bruce Wilkinson, over the last week, and books really can touch you when you're in a wild and crazy space and life is outside of your control and you're trying to stay kind of anchored. And I would highly recommend The Dream Giver, Audible or otherwise, and then please join us in Success Through Scripture. It's been a blessing to me. And I just appreciate you guys so much, and I hope you have an amazing new year. And I can't wait to see the wild ride that we're all going to have in 2020. Back to you.
Thank you, Kat. Appreciate you. I can't wait for this next study, and I'll talk about that as soon as we let Rachel come on. So Rachel, thank you so much for being on. We are recent friends, and she is an amazing leader in a company that I get to be fortunate to be a part of with her. She's always got high energy. She's always talking about health and being well and taking care of kids. And this girl's running around like crazy and getting it done, y'all. So Rachel, thanks so much for being on tonight. I'm so excited that you took the time out on New Year's Eve. Please tell us a little bit about what you thought this quote meant to you this week.
Sure. Thank you so much for having me on. Well, first of all, the wild part comes from my two kids who are like Irish twins, 8 and 9 years old, having them off from school for 2 weeks. So this word, my household over the past couple of weeks. And if once you guys get to really know me, you'll know, like, my kids call me a wild mom. They call me a crazy mom. I get right down to their level. We do the craziest, silliest, most wild things together. And I mean, we're just nuts in our house. So this hashtag was perfect for me, especially these 2 weeks with them being off, because we've been with each other non-stop. And we've had dance parties, we've dressed up, on excursions, we've played with each other, and you know, it's just kind of reminds me of being a kid again. And because, you know, there's times where you obviously have to be a parent, have to be strict, and you have to have rules, but there's also times where you can just get crazy and wild with them, and I feel like it connects you more with your kids when you get on that level with them. And then when you do have to be strict and you do have to lay down the law, they respect you more because they know that you can get on their level.
I think I kind of lost you there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
That's
at my
okay.
friend's house and the internet is a little unstable, so I apologize.
Good.
But can you hear me now okay?
Yep, you're good.
Okay, I'll finish up quick and then I'll hand it back to you just in case. But yeah, just being able to be on their level and have a lot of fun doing it. The other thing too that reminded me of this hashtag was remembering to, even though we're adults and there's a lot of really important world issues that we have to deal with, that hashtag reminds us to still have that playful, like Noelle said, that rebellious side. That, you know, all of us have a little bit of that rebellion inside of us, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing, and that's okay. But so that was all I really wanted to say. I'm going to hand it back to you because my internet is in and out, so I don't want to close it and mess it up on you guys. So back to you, Nicole.
Thank you so much, Rachel. I appreciate it. I mean, for everyone to be on tonight, New Year's Eve, we are so grateful for all of you who just popped in to say hello. We'll say hello back to you for just saying hi and coming on in. We are going to be starting a Success Through Scripture book. And for me, this is a wild book, y'all. If you don't know anything about Danny Johnson and what's coming next, starting Sunday the 5th, if you want more information, this is free to you. We invite everyone who wants to put the Word of God into their businesses and into the marketplace. So we highly recommend that you just take a little wild step with us over here on this book. Thank you so much for watching tonight. Happy New Year, everyone. And we will see you next time on our reveal. Bye. Bye.